Hello. Do you enjoy explosions? Self-mutilation via experimental weaponry? Well, how about big explosions caused by self-mutilating weaponry? If so, you're in luck, because that's the theme for Helldivers 2's latest Warbond coming on the 17th of July, the Control Group Warbond. This Warbond announcement has caught me completely by surprise, dropping at a random hour of the day never before seen from Arrowhead with no real schedule behind it anymore. Suffice to say, I'm now living every day in a constant state of paranoia as far as if I'm allowed to sleep soundly or need a 5 a.m. alarm. This is because more than half a year later, I've still somehow not been added to the content creator program after 4 months of radio silence on the matter. The program that comes with cool perks like a fully unlocked Warbond on launch and knowledge of when updates are about to go live. Tools that would definitely aid me in creating better content for you guys. So, why does Arrowhead not let me in despite saying they love my content? Good question. So bear with me today as we go over all the details we've been able to drum up this far on the new Warbond with no sleep to back me up. Starting with the new armor, we're receiving the AD-26 Bleeding Edge medium suit and the AD-49 Apollonian heavy suit. These new state-of-the-art armor sets come with a very questionable passive. The Adreno defibrillator gets your hopes up by promising to revive you on death, bringing you immediately back to full health should you expire. You probably assumed the catch is it's single use per life, and you'd be right. But it goes a step further, causing your health to also drain constantly after being activated until you die for real, essentially only promising to expand your lifespan rather than save your life the way a plethora of other defensive passives would have. We can also see in the trailer that taking enough damage or several instances of damage at the same time blowing you to pieces will prevent the self-revive altogether, making it even less useful than coin flipping death instead. While this armor is definitely in theme with the experimental technology vibe they clearly want for this Warbond, the zombie passive just doesn't seem great to me upon first impressions, unless the time it takes for you to drain back to zero is extremely long. And even if that's the case, I can't see many Helldivers using this suit beyond the first 2 days of the Warbond's release, unless you find it unusually aesthetically pleasing. Which, in all fairness, is a good enough reason to use anything in Helldivers 2. Getting into the much more exciting firepower in the Warbond, though, the VG-70 variable primary machine gun is among the most unique devices we've received from R&D. An amalgamation of a minigun capable of firing on 3 different programmable settings. Auto, working like a traditional automatic weapon with an adjustable RPM, firing from each barrel one at a time. The second setting is Volley, which fires every barrel at once for bursts of damage with longer intervals between. And the final setting, Total, which will fire all of the ammunition remaining in the weapon at once, upping the armor penetration of the singular round it fires to 4 for some extremely heavy damage. The downsides to using Total being the need to reload after, a high cost to your ammo economy, and also being blasted backwards upon firing, leaving you vulnerable. As far as how the armor penetration in general works though, the automatic mode is AP2 or light penetration, evident by how we see the bullets ricocheting off the Devastator's chestplate briefly, only confirming the kills through shots to the exposed stomach region. This lends credibility to the idea of the volley mode being AP3 or medium penetration, as the total mode is certainly AP4, also known as heavy penetration, evident by how it takes a Hulk skull off, as this arrangement of variable armor pen would just make sense. Not likely an overpowered primary by any means, but definitely a fun new toy to play with that might make its way into some players' loadouts beyond the initial launch. Next is the G31 Arc Grenade. This one is a bit more interesting than the trailer would lead you to believe. All we get is some clips of large groups of bugs getting evaporated, which is cool and all, but the fact that it's arc damage implies this grenade not only deals a large amount of AoE damage capable of killing off chaff units, but likely also has the capability to momentarily light stun larger enemies as well, putting it right between a full-on stun grenade and an HE grenade as far as usability goes. From prior releases, unfortunately we also know it's very unlikely this grenade will be capable of destroying spawners, due to the de-escalator arc grenade launcher being incapable of doing so. As far as armor penetration value, that's also up in the air, as arc weaponry ranges between AP3 and AP7. If this grenade's closer to AP7, it'll be goated. If it's AP3, no one's gonna use it. Simple as that. The next weapon being declassified by the Ministry of Science in this Warbond is the long-awaited Spartan Plaz 45 Epoch, which has had its icon drumming around the game files for a very, very long time now. This new plasma launcher is very similar to the railgun, in the way that neither of them feature a safe mode unless you're a puss. This new launcher has a massive area of effect, and plasma weapon area damage has no damage fall off, making this a devastating weapon to fire at groups of enemies. Something the trailer probably should have displayed instead of using this likely anti-tank weapon to kill a single biospewer. But we get what we get. Not a lot I can parse about this one, but it's reasonable to expect what is essentially a more dangerous to use quasar cannon with a greater area of effect and ammo requirements. Overall, not a bad addition, and not taking a backpack is definitely a pro with our next item. A returning favorite from Helldivers 1 with an all-new design, the Lift 182 Warp Pack Backpack Stratagem harnesses dark fluid to create your own personal wormhole on demand, teleporting you several meters forward on activation and dealing AoE damage within your landing zone, securing your relative safety. Using this pack too often, though, will cause it to overheat, collapsing the wormhole early with your squishy meat body still inside it.
Gone. Reduced to atoms.
Overall, this thing's going to be awesome. Mobility, as always, is the venerable king of Helldivers 2, and this thing offers great mobility and offense on demand, with no notable downsides. For the last of our new armaments, they've crammed a third stratagem into this Warbond, this being the ALAZ 98 Laser Sentry, which fires a laser cannon at the enemy with a supersized heatsink capable of potentially infinite laser fire as long as it doesn't overheat. Should the turret overheat, it'll explode. This turret will deal 350 damage per second with level 4 penetration and catch enemies on fire for 100 base damage per second additionally. However, this turret will lack the intelligence to swap targets after igniting them, making the fire damage potential much less relevant. Overall, this one is going to make its way into the vacation loadout for many. By that I mean the rocket defense mission, which practically plays itself when you bring enough sentries, and the prospect of infinite ammo means you'll be able to be even lazier. And to cap things off, we have the maniacal laugh emote, causing the community to once again join together and say that we need an expanded emote wheel. I'm not sure if the person in charge of the emote wheel at Arrowhead just really doesn't like the guy designing new emotes and wants to see that effort wasted, but it's certainly starting to look that way. That about does it for my breakdown of what we know so far about the upcoming Warbond. I'm definitely particularly excited for the lift pack and the prospects of the launcher, and very hesitant about the new armor and grenade. but I'll have a more complete picture for you on my launch day follow-up video, where we'll go over all the stats of each piece of gear, as well as my first impressions having run it to help you make a more informed purchase. Until then, if you're interested in my continued coverage of Helldivers 2, leave a comment below to let me know. Thank you for watching till the end, and to my coffee supporters who help keep the channel going. I'll see you next week.